Federal Drug Enforcement Administration says a week-long cartel crackdown led to nearly 200 arrests just in New England. The DEA says they were all members of the Sinaloa Cartel, the largest drug cartel in the world.
DEA says it's cracking down on a major drug syndicate at work in New England, the Sinaloa Cartel. In the last week, agents arrested more than 171 people in New England. The DEA seized 500-plus pounds of methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl.
Boston's quiet neighborhoods were ripped apart in an instant. In an unprecedented swoop, DEA and ICE agents converged on New England, crushing a massive Sinaloa cartel ring right in Boston's backyard. In a single week-long operation, officials rounded up nearly 200 suspects and hauled away mountains of contraband. Hundreds of kilograms of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine, over 700,000 counterfeit pills, dozens of guns, and over $1.3 million in cash. The scale of the raid was astonishing. Tables groaned under piles of assault rifles, bundles of cash, and plastic bins of dark gray fentanyl powder. This was not a small-time bust. It was the biggest drug crackdown the region had ever seen, and yet, the most terrifying part of the story is still unfolding. This cartel had embedded itself in our communities in ways most people never imagined. How did they hide in plain sight? What secrets were they guarding? And just how many lives were on the line? For one intense week in late August 2025, federal agents mounted a coordinated surge against the Sinaloa cartel across 23 divisions of the DEA. In New England alone, that meant raids from Massachusetts up to Maine. According to officials, 171 suspects were arrested in the region, including 49 in Massachusetts, all linked to the cartel's vast network. The epicenter of the Massachusetts crackdown was Lawrence, Massachusetts. A city officials say became an open hub for cartel activity. Members were communicating directly with high-ranking members of the cartel in other states and in Mexico, DEA New England boss Gerard Forget revealed. In one isolated New Hampshire raid on August 27th, agents arrested 27 more suspects after months of investigation. The arrests spanned every corner of the region. Connecticut saw 64 suspects led away in handcuffs, Maine 11, Rhode Island 10, and even Vermont 3, illustrating how far the cartel's tentacles had spread. "They're our public enemy number one in New England," Special Agent Forget warned. Even sleepy towns weren't safe. Agents burst into homes in small rural communities, seizing cell phones, computers, and ledgers that mapped the entire pipeline from Mexico to Massachusetts. In Lawrence and beyond, masked DEA officers swept through houses and warehouses, escorting out narco-traffickers as stunned neighbors watched. Each raid felt like a scene from a war movie. Helicopters overhead, K-9 teams at work, suspects shouting in Spanish as they were hauled away. By the operation's end, the haul was staggering. Authorities seized roughly 540 pounds of illegal drugs, including fentanyl, meth, and heroin. They pulled in 714,707 fake prescription pills, all laced with deadly fentanyl. Armed with these numbers, DEA Administrator Terrence Cole and other leaders framed the bust as a massive blow to the cartel. Every kilogram of poison seized, every dollar stripped from the cartels, represents lives saved, Cole said of the nationwide sweep. In tangible terms, investigators walked away with 33 guns and over $1.3 million in cash from New England raids alone. In New England, federal agents uncovered a similar stockpile, more than 33 loaded guns and piles of narcotics at each raid. Tables groaned under the cartel's firepower and poison as agents meticulously cataloged the evidence. The scale was chilling, not the spoils of street corner deals, but the bounty of a transnational crime ring. Each weapon and vial of drugs was a reminder of how close this violence had come to our own doorsteps. Authorities described the Sinaloa cartel, long dominant in the Southwest, as by far the most powerful drug syndicate in New England. DEA agents say virtually every fentanyl or meth lab found in the region could be traced back to these traffickers. Investigators painted a vivid picture: Cartel members swapping cell phone messages and surveillance photos of rival dealers, coordinating large shipments over highways and hidden delivery networks. With each arrested courier and busted stash house, agents unlocked one more layer of the cartel's complex network. But the deeper they looked, the more chilling details emerged. The first shocking revelation: the cartel wasn't just selling to addicts on street corners. They were hitting social media and online marketplaces, targeting ordinary citizens, even kids, with lethal products. Forget who has been on the case, put it bluntly. The days of meeting in some dark alleyway are over. Instead, a teenager with a smartphone could buy a month's supply of killer drugs without ever leaving school. In the offices of the DEA, agents laid out evidence of the cartel's daring tactics. Investigators found colorful pill presses turning out tablets that looked like innocent ADHD medications. These pills are in the schools. They're in the universities, one DEA official warned Boston. The counterfeit Adderall tablets were visually identical to real ones, filled instead with fentanyl so potent that it takes only one pill to kill. The headlines had been warning about rainbow fentanyl, and now the proof was on the table. Agents held up the spoils of the investigation: thousands of neon blue and rainbow-colored tablets, some stamped to mimic pharmaceutical brands. They were designed to look attractive to kids, like candy or pills from a pill sorter, but each was a deadly time bomb. Cartel operatives even coined a name for it: rainbow fentanyl. Thousands of these pills were seized in just a few raids. To the untrained eye, they were Tic Tacs and M&Ms. In reality, every single one carried a lethal dose. Investigators stressed the innovation of these criminals. They outsourced pill presses, hired graphic designers to make the tablets look authentic, and ran slick Instagram ads to sell them. Even payment was virtual. Investigators say buyers paid with Venmo, PayPal, cryptocurrency, or other apps, never meeting the trafficker in person. One agent noted grimly that a buyer could click a few buttons on their phone and have 100 fentanyl tablets showing up on their doorstep within days. Even more disturbing were rumors of intimidation. In some cases, law enforcement sources say cartel henchmen would harass or retaliate against anyone who refused to carry drugs, ensuring compliance. They operated with near-total impunity, fearing local police less than the pirates of old.
600 people linked to the Sinaloa drug cartel have been arrested. The DEA is looking for you in the U.S. or floating in the Caribbean. The U.S. formally designated the Sinaloa cartel a terrorist organization. These cartels are powerful and ruthless.
In fact, the Trump administration had already declared the Sinaloa cartel a foreign terrorist organization in early 2025, recognizing how reckless and ruthless its leadership had become. In the shadows of this crackdown, agents found evidence hinting at extortion networks and silent threats against witnesses. The human element was stark. For every weapon seized and suspect jailed, there could have been countless lives saved.
Parents protecting kids has never been harder. With almost every child having a phone and access to the internet, social media has become a dangerous place.
Parents in Massachusetts learned that their child's online dealer might have been on the DEA's watch list. Aided by unmarked vans and coded messages, the cartel had turned neighborhoods into distribution zones. Yet, because of the raids, the worst of their scheme was halted, at least for now. When the dust settled, the DEA held its press conference in Boston with grim satisfaction. Gerard Forget and other officials piled up the numbers for the cameras. 617 arrests nationwide, including 171 here in New England, and the massive seizure totals. Beside them lay evidence of the cartel's fate: armored cars, sniper rifles, bags of cash, symbols of a defeated empire. Governors' offices across Massachusetts hailed the operation as a victory for public safety. But even as leaders celebrated, the tone turned sober. Forget reminded everyone this was just one blow in a long war. "This fight continues, it just doesn't end," he said. "Every raid takes evil off the streets for a moment, but the Sinaloa cartel's reach is vast and unrelenting. Experts warned that if enforcement pauses, new shipments of drugs will flow in to fill the void." The DEA's message was clear: Today's victories are real, but the enemy is still out there. And a final warning to the public: be vigilant. One DEA official summed it up: "We've seen the deadliest drug crisis I've ever seen. One simple mistake, taking a stranger's candy-colored pill, can be fatal." These Sinaloa operatives were sophisticated and callous, exploiting technology and preying on the vulnerable. That means we all have to stay informed and cautious. If you found this report eye-opening, hit like and subscribe to stay updated on this story. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on this massive raid or your own experiences, and share this video to alert others. The war on drugs hits close to home, and everyone's voice matters. Thanks for watching,
neighbors and
stay
friends
safe out there.
into